A single moment can change everything. In the Outlander Season 8 finale, that moment shattered fans' hearts forever. A life was lost, trust was broken, and time itself twisted into something terrifying. This was not just another ending. It was the kind of finale that makes you sit in silence, shocked. Wondering how the story can possibly continue, the road to the finale was filled with storm after storm for the Fraser family. Every season has tested their strength, but Season 8 pushed them further than ever before. At the center was the constant pull of time itself, the dangerous, unpredictable force that has haunted Claire and Jamie since the very beginning. Each choice they made, every step forward, seemed to tighten the threads of fate around them. The season opened with hope, but quickly turned into chaos. War raged in the colonies, secrets spread through their closest circles, and loyalties were tested at every turn. Claire's healing hands could not mend the wounds of betrayal, and Jamie's strength alone could not protect the family from enemies both known and hidden. The more they fought for peace, the more the shadows of the past returned to haunt them. By the time the finale arrived, fans knew they were standing at the edge of something devastating. Small warnings had been sprinkled throughout the season in glances, whispered conversations, and quiet farewells that hinted at what was to come. Viewers felt the tension rising, but nothing could prepare them for how brutally the story would end. The finale begins not with battle, but with silence, a calm before the storm. The camera lingers on the land, the hills of Scotland, the wind carrying a heavy stillness, as though the earth itself knows what is about to happen. Characters move carefully, their words softer than usual, their faces marked with fear they cannot hide. Every second feels heavier, and even without spoilers, you know that something or someone will be lost forever. This atmosphere of dread becomes the foundation of the finale. It is not sudden, it is not rushed. Instead, the story allows viewers to feel the weight of time closing in. The sense that no matter what decisions are made, destiny has already chosen its course. And in this course lies a loss so shocking that fans all over the world are still struggling to accept it. Death in Outlander has never been simple. It has always carried meaning, echoing through time and shaping the choices of those left behind. But in the Season 8 finale, the death we witnessed was more than just a turning point, it was a breaking point. A character we had trusted, loved, and followed for years was suddenly gone, leaving both the story and the audience shattered. The writers didn't stage this moment with loud drums or sudden violence. Instead, they chose something more haunting, quiet inevitability. The scene begins with a sense of false security. Characters share soft words, a brief moment of peace, as if the storm had finally passed. Then, like a cruel trick, the silence is broken. The attack comes not with warning, but with sharp finality. And before anyone can understand what's happening, the loss is already real. What makes this death so unforgettable is not only who dies, but how it happens. It is not a clean ending. It is messy, painful, and deeply human. The character doesn't just disappear. They fight, they hold on, they try to survive. And in their final moments, their eyes search for the people they love most. This is the moment where every fan feels the blow. It's not just the loss of a character, but the loss of hope, of safety, of the illusion that anyone in this story is truly untouchable. For Jamie and Claire, this death is not just grief, it is a wound that cuts to the very center of their lives. The way they react, the way their voices break, the way their hands cling desperately to the fading light tells us everything about the bond that has now been torn apart. Time has stolen many things from them, but this moment feels like the cruelest theft yet. And for the audience, watching in stunned silence, the realization sets in. Nothing will ever be the same. The world of Outlander has been forever altered. What was once a story of survival and love now feels like a battle against destiny itself, a destiny that has no mercy. Fans took to social media immediately after the episode aired, sharing their heartbreak, their disbelief, their anger at the writers, and their admiration for the bravery of the scene. It was not just an ending. It was a reminder that in this world, love and loss walk hand in hand. Not all wounds come from an enemy's blade. Some cut deeper because they come from the hand of someone you trusted. That is the heart of the betrayal in the Season 8 finale, a moment that struck harder than the battlefields and heartbreaks before it. If the death left fans stunned, the betrayal left them questioning everything they thought they knew about loyalty, love, and survival in the world of Outlander. What makes betrayal so powerful is that it never arrives. Suddenly it creeps in like a shadow. Earlier in the season, small hints were there. A look held too long, a secret kept too tightly, a choice that didn't align with words of devotion. But in the finale, those scattered pieces came together, and the truth exploded like fire in the dark. A friend, once seen as a lifeline, revealed themselves to be the dagger at the Fraser family's back. This betrayal was not just about power or greed. It was personal. It came from someone who had shared their home, their food, their laughter, and even their pain. To watch that bond break was more devastating than any enemy attack. Fans were not just shocked, they were angry. Angry at the traitor for the deceit and angry at themselves for not seeing the signs sooner. The way the betrayal unfolded added to the sting. It wasn't a grand declaration. It was a quiet choice made in the shadows, a whispered conversation with the wrong people. A piece of information passed to the enemy. A decision that placed survival above loyalty. And in that single choice, a chain reaction began, leading directly to bloodshed and heartbreak. For Claire and Jamie, the betrayal was more than strategy gone wrong. It was personal humiliation, the collapse of trust, silence after. Discovering the truth spoke louder than any words. Claire's eyes, filled with disbelief, captured the depth of the wound. They were betrayed not just as leaders, but as human beings who had opened their hearts to someone who chose to turn against them. For viewers, the betrayal created a shift in the story's entire moral compass. Suddenly, every alliance seemed fragile, every promise suspect. Outlander has always been about survival across time, but now it became about survival against those closest to you. That betrayal turned the finale from tragedy into chaos, leaving fans gasping for answers and desperate to know. What kind of future could rise from such ruins, if death broke the heart and betrayal broke the trust, and the final twist in Outlander? Season 8 shattered the very foundation of time itself. Fans have always known that time travel is dangerous in this world. But the finale revealed something more unsettling. The rules of time are not fixed. They bend, they shift, and sometimes they fight back. The twist doesn't come with the usual swirl of light or the familiar hum of power. Instead, it slips into the story quietly, like a ripple spreading across still water. A voice from another time is heard when it should be impossible. A place that once felt safe suddenly appears changed, marked by events that have not yet happened. Characters walk through doors and find themselves in moments that do not belong to their present. The finale blurs the line between now and then, forcing both characters and fans to question, is time a path, or is it a trap? This new revelation makes time feel alive, less like a tool and more like a predator. Claire, who has always walked between centuries, begins to realize that each step into the past or the future comes with a cost. And Jamie, bound to her by love, but chained to his own era, now faces a choice that feels impossible. Does he risk losing everything to follow her across time once more? Or does he stay behind and let fate tear them apart? The moment of the reveal is breathtaking. Symbols we have seen for years, stones, fire, echoes of voices, suddenly mean something different. They were never just gateways, they were warnings. And the warning is clear. The past does not like to be changed, and the future does not like to be stolen. By crossing the line too many times, the Frasers may have awakened something that cannot be undone. For the fans, this twist was the ultimate shock. It was not just about a character's death or a betrayal of trust, it was about rewriting the very DNA of the story. Suddenly, the journey ahead is filled with uncertainty. Will we see characters alive in another century? Will history bend to allow second chances? Or will every attempt to alter fate only create more tragedy? The finale ends not with closure, but with a door flung wide opener. A cliffhanger that makes every theory possible and every answer dangerous. In that moment, the saga of Outlander becomes bigger than love, war, or family. It becomes a fight against time itself, and time, as the finale reminds us, is the most ruthless enemy of all. When the credits rolled, silence filled living rooms across the world, and then, almost instantly, that silence broke into an uproar. Fans rushed online, flooding timelines and forums with their shock, anger, heartbreak, and disbelief. The Season 8 finale wasn't just an episode of television, it became a cultural moment, a tidal wave of emotion that no one could ignore. Some voices were raw with grief. Messages poured in about the death, calling it the cruelest twist yet, confessing that it left them unable to sleep, unable to stop replaying the final scene in their minds. Others described watching with tears streaming, writing about how they felt as though they had lost a friend, not just a character. For longtime fans who had followed these journeys for years, the pain was almost personal, but grief wasn't the only emotion. Anger burned just as fiercely. Betrayal didn't stop with the characters on screen, echoed into the fandom itself. Many accused the writers of breaking trust, of pushing too far, of turning love into tragedy without mercy. Social feeds became battlegrounds where theories clashed with outrage. One group defended the choices, calling them brave, necessary, and true to the spirit of the story. Another group condemned them, claiming that Outlander had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. And then came the theories. Thousands of them. Fans dissected every detail of the time travel twist. Rewinding scenes, zooming in on symbols, comparing lines of dialogue from earlier seasons. Could the death be undone by time itself? Was the betrayal actually part of a larger plan? Did the final ripple of time mean that characters we thought were lost might still be alive in another century? Speculation grew into a wildfire, sparking endless threads of hope and despair. What made these reactions so powerful was their unity. People who had never met found each other online, connected by their heartbreak and their need to understand what they had just witnessed. The finale didn't just end a story 8, created a global conversation, shared grief, and a storm of theories that made the fandom feel alive in a way it hadn't in years. In the end, the buzz wasn't just about what had happened. It was about what it meant. The death, the betrayal, the twist. It all reminded fans why they had fallen in love with Outlander in the first place, because it dares to show that love and loss. Loyalty and betrayal, past and future, are all tangled together. And as fans continue to debate and grieve, one thing is certain: the finale will be remembered as one of the most shocking, most talked about episodes in the series' history. The Outlander Season 8 finale did not end with answers. It ended with questions, heavy, haunting, impossible questions that cling to the mind long after the screen fades to black. A death that feels too final, a betrayal that feels too cruel, a twist in time that feels too dangerous to ignore. These are not just plot points, they are wounds, and wounds don't heal overnight. For Jamie and Claire, the road ahead is uncertain. They are scarred, broken, and standing at the edge of something bigger than themselves. For the audience, the journey is no less fragile. Every theory, every conversation, every late-night debate is an attempt to stitch together a future from the fragments left behind. But perhaps that is the point. Perhaps the finale was never meant to give us comfort. It was meant to remind us that stories, like time itself, are never safe. And so, the question lingers. What comes next? Will time offer mercy and return what was lost? Now, has the future already been written? Its ink too dark to wash away? Will betrayal deepen into chaos? Or will forgiveness find a way through the storm? The finale does not tell us. Instead, it leaves us staring into the unknown, daring us to imagine what happens beyond the final frame. This is where you come in. Every fan who watched now holds a piece of the story in their hands. Your theories, your grief, your hope, these are what keep Outlander alive between seasons. So, what do you think? Did the betrayal mean more than we realized? Could the death be undone through the rules of time? Or is this truly the beginning of the end for the Frasers? Share your thoughts. Share your heartbreak. Share your theories that might change everything we believe about this world. Because if one thing is certain, it's that Outlander has never belonged to just the characters. It has always belonged to the people who feel every loss, every kiss, every twist, as if it were their own. The saga may be closing in on its final chapters, but the story is far from over. In the silence left behind by this finale, one truth rings louder than ever. Time is still watching, and time always takes what it's owed. The only question is who or what will it claim next? So the screen fades, but the echoes remain. We have seen love torn apart, trust shattered, and time itself split open. What began as a story of devotion between Claire and Jamie has now become something far greater, a battle against destiny. Betrayal and forces, even they may not be able to control, but this is not the end. Not for the Frasers, and not for us. The finale leaves behind a trail of unanswered questions, like footprints in the mist. Who can be trusted after such a betrayal? Will the death that broke our hearts stand forever, or can time itself be bent to bring them back? And most of all, has time already written an ending that none of us are ready to face? Outlander has always been more than a show. It is a journey through history, through love, and through pain. It's a reminder that even when centuries divide us, the human heart beats the same. And now, as we wait for what comes next, it is your turn to carry the story forward. What did this finale mean to you? Was it cruel, brilliant, or perhaps both? Could this be the beginning of redemption, or the start of something far darker? Share your thoughts, your theories, and your grief below. Every voice adds to the legacy of this story, and every perspective keeps the conversation alive. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the saga is not finished. Time has more secrets to reveal, more sacrifices to demand, and more hearts to break. Till then, we watch, we wonder, and we wait, knowing that in Outlander, the past is never gone, the future is never safe, and time always takes its due. Fade out with text on screen.